Hey guys, it's Froppy. Today, I'm going to be celebrating the milestone of earning 700 subscribers by hosting a second Q&A video. I remember making a Q&A video for my 500 subscriber special, and it was a lot of fun. So I decided to do another one to celebrate this new milestone. I'll be answering questions submitted by you guys from a community post that was posted a while back. It's been closed, by the way. And compared to the first Q&A video, I received much more questions, so this video will be much longer. But honestly, it'll be a great way to exercise our attention spans. Okay, without further ado, let's jump into the questions. The first question comes from Jacoboy2022, and he asked, what inspired you to start YouTube? If I have to be completely honest, I didn't really have much inspiration when it comes to starting YouTube. However, I am looking up to many art creators such as Narami when it comes to my new era of creating art like videos. However, when I started, I kind of did it just for fun and I just kind of wanted to do it. I didn't really have much inspiration to that besides that at the time. But for my new era of YouTube content, it has slowly shifted to being inspired by others, especially many artists in the platform. The next question comes from Byskit69. They'd asked, what's the best burger you have ever tasted? In my honest opinion, I am not the biggest burger person. I don't hate them nor dislike them. I actually think they are pretty good, but I'm more of a fan of other types of food. But if I have to be honest, I definitely recommend the burgers from Hard Rock Hotel. Those are really, really good. The next question comes from Titans Eagles Enjoyer, aka Julio, a good friend of mine, by the way. He asked two questions, which are, do you have a favorite horror movie, and favorite anime besides MHA? Honestly, I am a massive fan of the horror genre, even though I haven't talked about it as much either in videos or in community posts. But honestly, out of all of the horror movies, I absolutely adore Scream for its great meta and subversion to many slasher film tropes, because I'm telling you, slasher films, compared to other types of horror, they are filled with lots and lots of tropes. But honestly, I think that Scream provides a great subversion to it, and it does provide great meta commentary as well as meta humor. Honestly, I think it was meta humor at its prime along with Deadpool. For my favorite anime besides MHA, it's pretty tough, but I do have to give credit to Spy X Family, because I absolutely adore its premise. I do like the idea of a family being built based on a spy mission, while at the same time, all three of them are oblivious to each of their own identities that they have to go through, and they have to keep it a secret. Well, it creates a great family dynamic, and there's a lot of great action sequences and great character development. It's probably an anime that I definitely love besides MHA. And yes, I do not have big anime watch lists compared to many other anime fans. I do not have, over 50. I do not have the time for that, unfortunately. Now this next two questions come from Team Rhea Ripley. They've asked, do you have a favorite anime and favorite TV show? Now, in all honesty, I think the first question is pretty obvious considering how my channel name and my profile picture pretty much allude to My Hero Academia being my favorite anime, considering how my channel mascot is clearly my favorite character of all time from that said anime, Suyu Asui, aka Froppy. There's so many things I love about the anime, such as the action sequences, the character development, and of course, the themes of heroism. I truly love so many things about it, despite the fact it has typical shonen tropes like, for instance, sidelining female characters or having them completely depend on the male character or whatever to carry their arcs, to Mineta being a perv and sexualizing teens. Yeah, not so great stuff. But regardless, it's kind of the minority of the show. I can still be able to enjoy it, even when those elements do appear here and there. And honestly, I really recommend it, especially to people who are just starting anime. Also ignore the freaking fanbase. The fanbase is completely different from the show itself, just please. And don't try to hate on others for simply liking it. Because honestly, the hate for My Hero Academia is just too far. As for favorite TV show, I'm going to yap for this one for a little bit, but basically, I'm going to count this as a recommendation, but I highly recommend checking out Mike Flanagan's Haunting of Hill House on Netflix. I truly adore that show in a lot, and I mean a lot of reasons. Not only is it able to display family drama, but also incorporate it with horror elements, especially with supernatural phenomenons like ghosts, in such a unique way. And honestly, I feel like the character arcs are also incredibly well done, as for my opinion. They all have layers and a lot of complexity, to which it's not like they're immediately good or evil. They all make good and bad decisions, which is basically what real life is like. There's no definitive way on saying whether or not someone's entirely good or evil. And when it comes to characters being relatable, I do like to make an example to why I say that with how I relate to Theo's character arc tremendously. Not only does it highlight the aspect of people icing people out for an involuntary reason, along with the struggle of having a queer identity, it displays such a key, it's just been such a relatable thing to me, especially the fact that I do indeed struggle with those things, and I don't really see that type of thing really translated well in media, especially when it comes to fire that burns cold type of phrase. The next question comes from Frost501-4N2. They've asked, if you could make one thing from your imagination real, what would it be? Honestly, I have been thinking about a plushie of Ballister and Ambrosius, and honestly, as a fellow plushie collector, I kinda want one right now. Next question comes from Davis's Life 89. They've asked, what is your favorite movie of 2022? And honestly, I think that 2022 was a pretty good year, and I know a lot of people are going to say that Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is their favorite, but I do have a different opinion, surprisingly. Wow, I am that original, guys. For this, I have a two-way tie. It's either between Bullet Train or Smile. I know, I am such a masochist for saying that. For Bullet Train, I absolutely think that the strongest parts were the humor, and the action sequences are pretty fun, from what I can remember. I think the characters are pretty memorable, from what I can remember. Mind you, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I know it's one of my favorites. Now, as for Smile, okay, I think it kinda doesn't count, and kinda does, because I've seen the movie, not in 2022, I've seen it, much later than that. But I will say it is a 2022 film that I've seen since it came out in 2022 originally. In all honesty, I think it's probably the scariest film that I have ever seen in my entire life. And you know me from the previous, few minutes. I am a horror movie kid, basically. And no matter how scary a movie is, I'll still be tuned to watching it. And I also do think that the metaphors of mental health, that kind of allegory, is kind of well done, as well as telling sort of a tall tale type of thing. And honestly, it's just genuinely creepy. It's like Truth or Dare walked so Smile could run. The thing that makes those smiles scary is the fact that they are not CGI. People can literally mimic smiles like that in real life without any CGI, nor special effects, nor makeup, none of that. No, people can actually mimic it. So yeah, I will forever be terrified of that realization. So the next question comes from Son of Greed, and he's asked, what's your favorite indie show? If you won another Blue Sky movie, what would it be? And who's your favorite anime villain? For starters, I'm already going to say that my favorite indie show so far has got to be Gaslight District. I know that as from the time of this recording that the pilot is out, but I'm already hooked. In my personal opinion, I think it is easily the best pilot out of all the other indie pilots type of stuff. Not only do I think that the animation style is not only smooth, but it has this new style to it where it makes it have that edge type of look, kind of like Tim Burton in a way, with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem clashed with it. It also has really fun characters along with an action-packed type of flick. And one thing's for sure, I also love crime. That's one thing to consider. And crime families are one of those things, and it's definitely my jam. The world building is definitely something that I am really looking forward to, especially with the dystopian world. I am really curious to see how it really plays out, and it will still be my favorite indie show, in my personal opinion. It used to be Hell of a Boss, but since season 2 had a shit ton of writing issues that I really had a bone to pick with, honestly, the Gaslight District immediately takes the cake for me. I'm not sorry, I will forever solidify with that case. So for Blue Sky Films, I want to say I'm not really asking for a franchise or a new addition to a franchise, I guess. More asking just, have this studio be able to develop an opportunity to make more original films. Because even right after shut down, it didn't really have much of a movie catalog compared to Sony or DreamWorks or Pixar even. And of course, it has less than Disney, way less by a landslide. I mean, it's been the oldest company out of the rest, But honestly, I feel like that I wish that we have seen more works that Blue Sky could do, because I feel like that studio has quite a lot of potential, but it kind of fell under the idea of, we gotta milk the Ice Age films to death instead of creating something new, because that's the only thing that money can be made, which is honestly unfortunate. Hopefully someday that new stories, new ideas will probably be more successful and pretty much be taken with more recognition than big franchising companies and stuff. Ooh, bad parts of capitalism. Woo woo. Yeah. I just wish that original projects get more recognition, and I hope that a new era of animation will do that. As for anime villain, I have to give it to Himiko Toga. I honestly really love her backstory. I love her quirk. I love her character design, especially the fact that it's supposed to be a nod to yandere type of characters, especially with the yandere themed games. And I also really love the dynamic and conflict between her and Ochako. I absolutely adored it. And in all honesty, I do like the idea of her bisexuality being implicit, kinda not implicit, kind of explicit, who knows, with her character, with her being isolated and villainized for her quirk, which drives into her villainy. And honestly, it applies to many people today with how people are villainized and isolated without being given a chance in human society. It really correlates to real life so well, and also I do really love her redemption. Redemption moment was absolutely heartbreaking and truly wholesome, especially with the last chapter. It's just so emotional. Now the next 2 questions come from Zayo, a good old buddy of mine. He's asked, what's your favorite Ice Age character, and what qualities do you hate in any show, movie, / games writing? Now, for Ice Age character being which one's my favorite, I honestly have to give it to Diego. He's really cool. Not only do I find his arc being pretty well done with him no longer being part of the pack and whatever, kind of moving on to what kind of group he decides to be in, and as well as pretty much making friends with people who are, not carnivores. I think that's pretty cool. He kind of, the dynamics with the other characters are pretty well done, especially with his, tough kind of attitude. Honestly, I think he's a really cool character. Honorable mention to Buck Wild, he's really fun. I do love his eccentric personality. Then again, I do love a lot of characters that have eccentric personalities in a different font. In all honesty, those are my 2 favorite characters. I do like Scrat, but honestly, I prefer Buck and Diego more. No offense. Sorry. As for pet peeves, I do have so many, but one of them that I do have, especially nowadays, is inclusivity bias. For those who don't know what inclusivity bias is, it's basically a term that Blacklight Jack has made, and honestly, I think just check out his channel. Just check out his channel. Just, shout out to him, I guess. I don't think will probably ever see this or whatever. I don't think he will, but I'm just still gonna give him a shout out anyway. But he pretty much makes a great summarization with how inclusivity bias is just basically, the idea of being inclusive, but at the same time hating towards another group of people for your own favors. Basically, kind of like bias, but instead putting inclusivity into the case. Like for a new instance, a Nubia Real one, it talks about, fighting against racism and whatnot, and fighting against that, which is totally fine. I think, yes, fighting against racism is perfect, but it makes you a hypocrite if you end up villainizing white people and saying that, white people are bad. White people are all, bad people and stuff. They're all stupid. They're all bad. They're all stupid, bad, stupid. Like, I'm telling you, that kind of rhetoric has been pissing me off. And I'm not saying, I'm not saying perpetuating hate towards black people, not perpetuating towards anyone. I think that we should treat people like people. I don't care what skin color you are. I'm going to treat you like a person. And, yeah, I'm going to treat you like a buddy. I'm going to treat you like a person. I want to be friends with homies with everyone, Like, can we just quit with, the race debate? And I am talking to the white supremacists as well. Like, I'm tired of them too. I'm so tired of them. Because they're not helping much either. While they're the ones complaining about anti-white, rhetorics. But if they don't want that, they should stop being racist, they should stop. And it's all the people are trying to, throw in, buzzwords like white guilt, white fragility, and all that. That is not the point. The point is racism is racism. And it's usually against minority groups, but usually it is there in that phrase. Usually means anyone, if there's any form of discrimination towards a skin tone, based on a skin tone, then that's racism. That's what it is. It's by definition. Stop trying to do mental gymnastics to justify your hatred. Goodness, I want it to end, please. These next few questions come from Sim Butterfly. They've asked, opinion on my profile picture, any cartoon show you like, favorite YouTuber. For your PvP, I think it's really good. I think it's really well done. I do like the lighting on it. I think the CC, which is kind of the definition of quality filter type of stuff, I think it's really well done. I do like the aesthetic of it. I think it's really nice. As a cartoon show, I'm going to say one that I can think of at the top of my head, Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, hands down. Easily the best Scooby-Doo series. I don't think there's really much, an explanation as to why. Just go watch all the videos I've been praising it. I'll probably be saying the exact same things there. As for favorite YouTuber, I don't really have one specifically. However, I do want to say that I do aspire to be like art YouTubers, especially one named Narami. I really recommend her videos, and she's doing really, really well, which makes me so happy. I do love her art in the videos that she does, especially with her dog. These next few questions come from Noahzilla. He's asked, when you got Discord, what were your first thoughts? If you could do any voice acting, who would you voice act? How will you feel if you got more subscribers? Now, when I got Discord, I got it because my older sibling had Discord before me. At first, I was pretty skeptical because I never thought that I would kind of be in a group, when people would accept me. Because at that time, I was still trying to find myself, especially with how I'm able to talk about the things I really, really hyperfixate about to others. And at that time, I was still kind of recovering from, school and stuff. So I was really unsure if I was ever going to make friends on there. It was a thing, though. I managed to get through it over time and make some new friends despite having, ups and downs along the way. I still managed to make some new friends, That's good, I guess. For voice acting, I would probably say if I had to voice act anyone, probably say probably for a project for an anime or an indie show. I would definitely want to support that, but voice acting is kind of something that I wouldn't really do as a profession. Not at the current moment. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do when I get older and, graduate college and whatnot. Still at high school, by the way, from the timing of this video, I guess. If I got more subscribers, then I would be eternally grateful for that, because I do really, really want to make an audience full of people who are pretty much like just a bunch of nerds hanging out, just watching, me make fan art of things and my characters, especially my persona. I do really want to kind of introduce what I make to the world, and I think it will just be such a fun thing to do, I just feel like that. I think with having a YouTube channel, all I really wanted to do was kind of create a community of people that I can really be able to entertain with what I do and be seen for what I can do and such. So these new questions come from Ryan Tremblay. He's asked, what do you like to do besides drawing, editing, favorite kind of music? If you were a superhero, which one would you be? If you were to play video games, what gaming system would you play on?
Okay, so on a quick little note, I didn't expect for the speed paint of the Beelzebub plushie is gonna be cut short, so I'm gonna be pulling up another one. It's based on this piece featuring my redesign of Beelzebub from Hell of a Boss and my timeskip design of Ambrosius. Please do not try to pull up hate comments. I get it, they're both looking chubby and stuff, but please, it's not a big deal. Just click off or whatever, and don't try to send hate comments, because that's probably going to be a waste of your time. Anyways, back to the Q&A.
Okay, for the first question, I am going to say this question aged like milk because I no longer do editing. I mean, I kind of do with just putting in the video and stuff, my speed paint in and whatever, but I really don't really do editing anymore. I've probably said that enough, and hopefully I made it loud and clear for people in the back who forgot about that, for mentioning me in posts about it. Just please understand that I am no longer doing editing and such. But besides that, I do really like to write. I do write whenever I have the free time, and I do have projects in mind that I will share in the future when I have time. As for favorite kind of music, I do love to listen to, movie soundtracks. That's something I really listen to. And for some reason, I also listen to edits too, just for their audios and such. But regardless, I mostly listen to movie soundtracks. I absolutely love them, especially for, being, in band. I am no longer going to be in the band department as a percussionist, because I'm just moving on to really just doing art and writing as a thing that I will mostly do at school especially. But even while experiencing that, it's just it brings a new, different perspective on movie soundtracks, and I've still loved them before I did percussion, but I love them even more as I was doing that, but I'll still listen to them. Plus, they can either be calming and energetic too, so I can just listen to that and potentially fall asleep. I think that it's really great to listen to movie soundtracks sometime. As for superheroes, if I could be any, I do not have one specifically. I would want to be someone who can shapeshift. I think shapeshifting is cool. At least turning into with animals at least, or making animal hybrids, maybe a canine character with insect features. I am totally not alluding to a certain character. I'm totally not alluding to that. I'm not, guys, trust me, I'm not really much of a simp, please. Please, I want to break the allegations, please. Anyways, for the fourth question, if I were to play in video games, what gaming system would I play on? I'm mostly, like, here's the thing, I'm not really a gamer per se, but I mostly play games on, like, Nintendo, like, either on the Wii or the Switch. Mostly the Switch, because I have a Nintendo Lite, which is, like, the smaller ones, not the standard ones. And I do play lots of games on there. I do play Super Smash Bros., Pokken Tournament DX, and that DreamWorks Racing game. Those are the top 3 games that I usually play on the Switch, just to let you know. But I'm not really a huge gamer, and I probably don't know how to stream games, like, in good quality while I am playing them on just a Nintendo Switch, like, not even on a PC. I also play Granny on my phone too, but then again, it's like not much games. I don't play much games. Sorry, I'm not really a gamer gal. Okay, so just to point out one thing real quick, little editing note here. So I know that Ryan Tremblay has made another comment that asked me to name 10 editors that I know that are my friend. I'm going to say I am not going to do that because, again, I am no longer part of the editing WIS versus Battles community. I am no longer a part of that, and I'm probably going to make that clear in this video. And whenever people say anything about me being in the editing community or whatever, I'm just going to put this video in and put a timestamp that says I'm not a part of it. Thank you for listening to the fact that I'm no longer a part of it. I have, like, it's been, like, more than 2 months since, from the recording of this video, that I have left the WIS community. Like, it's, like, just old news at this point, and the fact that people are still throwing me and stuff, like, just please, no, I do not want to be, no, just please, just let me be an artist, please, I'm just an artist, leave me alone. Now, these 2 questions come from the man himself, Mr. Shock, a good old buddy of mine, probably one of my best buds in, like, YouTube, YouTube friends kind of thing. So the 2 questions are, what's your favorite thing to do while having a break/free time from other things that are important? The second question is, what is it that you like about Beelzebub from Hell of a Boss, and what would happen if you met her in person? Okay, so what I like to do while having break/free time, I do really, like, love to listen to music, but I also like to, I spend time with my family, and I take my dog on walks, and I, just draw, make little doodles for fun. Like, I do kind of, like, draw. It's not, like, necessarily something that exhausts me. I know that, like, art will be, like, a new thing that I'm doing for content, but it's not gonna really stress me out all that much, Like, it will probably be a great way for me to document, too, with, like, my progression with art, especially if I want to, like, change the styles or whatever. So, I think drawing is another thing I do, like, just a break from, just doing stuff. I just mostly like doing art for fun, as well as kind of doing it in a professional way with how I will improve and, putting it as a job for in the future. Now, with the little BB, the queen bee, the girl boss herself, the queen of gluttony, I'm going to say I am a Beelzebub apologist. I know I've said things about her character design. I love her. Sometimes her character design, just contextually speaking, in terms of the lore, is kind of not very good. But as a character design, I think it's so lovely. Honestly, I love her. I love her personality and such, even though she, at times, doesn't really fit with, being the sin of gluttony. Not just in terms of, not really in terms of body type per se, but more of, like, her demeanor and, like, her behavior. It's not really, like, besides being a party girl, but at the same time, she doesn't have, like, this malicious, gluttonous tendencies, like, being oblivious to people, indulging, like, that kind of thing with, like, if I had to change one scene, it's like that one scene when B was like, hey, into Luna, like, hey, listen, your dad's not doing good. You know, he's not having a, you know, he's kind of getting wasted and stuff. He's going out of control and whatever. Instead, she would have probably, like, if she really was, like, decent and gluttony, she would have been like, oh, don't worry, he's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Oh, he's fine. Like, it is giving all the fun party energy. I'm loving it. I'm loving this energy. It is great. And Luna will be like, no, it's not doing great. You're, like, trying to feed off, like, his indulgences or whatever and all that and trying to, like, you know, whatever. But then B would be, like, overall, like, a little, you know, she'll still be a good person, but it's just, you know, a big flaw because, she'll be, like, the sin. She's, like, the sin of gluttony. She's probably gonna expect to have a flaw that ties with her sin and all. Honestly, I really love her regardless, even though I can do so much, like, writing potential. And I know that, you know, Rochelle Diamante is replacing Kesha. Also, this is before season 3 has ever, you know, been out. So, yeah, and you know, this is, like, this is, like, recorded a day after the news about that was announced. I am looking forward to how Rochelle would voice B. I still have potential. I don't think it would ruin it for me. Like, I don't care. Like, I love B. I just love her, okay? I love everything about her. She's great. Even though as a 7 deadly sin, like, as a sin of gluttony, she isn't, like, written the best in terms of that, but honestly, that it's something in Epic, I can just steal her away from Viv. Jokingly, I am jokingly say that. Please don't sue me. And make her a little pookie. Okay, if I happen to see her upon my doorstep, I will be flabbergasted. I will be standing there, watching, looking up endlessly, and then completely pounce with lots and lots of hugs. I can't help myself. I just simply can't. I do not know how to explain myself. I think that is all I will answer from this. So this question comes from Random Gamer Legend. They've asked, who is your secret fictional Pookie? Well, I think I've already answered that question in the previous question. Yeah, it's little BB. She's gonna be in my house in a few months. I will totally make a video about that. I can't wait to make it. I can't wait to snuggle the bee plushie. You twos, thank you for making it! Apologies for the potential ear rape. My bad, I can't help myself. I hope that it was funny at least. That's all I want, you know, to say about it, I guess. So that is the answer to that lovely question. So this big question comes from Z-Rexy. And this question is, it just has a formula to it. So the question is, what are your favorite and what's your favorite, least favorite movies from certain animation studios? And it goes from Walt Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks, Illumination, Blue Sky, and Sony. So, and also it says explain why. I don't really have much to explain because I know that this video will probably be the longest video I will possibly ever make ever, because I'm telling you, this Q&A is long. So I'm going to kind of make it brief. I am so sorry if this isn't what you really wanted, but I'm going to make this brief. So, okay, for Disney, I will have to say my favorite has got to be Lilo and Stitch. My least favorite, I can't think of one at the top of my head. I would like to say all the directed DVD sequels. I'm just throwing them all there. They're all just doo-doo water. Okay, for Pixar, my favorite is Toy Story 3. My least favorite Pixar film is Cars 2. If you really want to know why, just check out Shay for Alyssa's video about it. I think what he has said pretty much summarizes my thoughts on it. For DreamWorks, Madagascar 2, Escape to Africa. is my favorite. Honorable mentions are How to Train Your Dragon 1 and Kung Fu Panda 2. Now, for my least favorite DreamWorks movie is the Boss Baby films. I hate them. I hate them with the burning passion. They're not even funny. It's just like I'm just like I've just been to hell or something. They're just bad. Honestly, I already know that taking care of babies is already a nightmare, but I don't know, man. The Boss Baby just makes it even more like a sleep paralysis demon. Okay, for elimination, I like to say Despicable Me 1. I think it was probably the only movie, it was like the first and probably the last movie that was like, let's try to make a good story and such, you know? And then my least favorite movie, okay, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna say it's the Minions. I don't like the Minions. I hate them. They're the definition of commercialism, and it is so garbage. Like, literally, I do not like it. I do not like the Minions. I want them to get out of my face. Please. I am still pissed off that Universal Studios Singapore, literally the Madagascar River Ride, was replaced with Minion stuff. Why? Why Universal Studios Singapore? How dare you do this to me? Okay, for Blue Sky, my favorite film, it's Nimona. It counts. They originally made it. I don't care. I know it's on Netflix. I know Annapurna Pictures and DNEG Productions picked it up. I don't care. I'm going to say it's the best Blue Sky movie. Now, for least favorite Blue Sky movie, it is definitively Ice Age and the Collision Course. I don't know, it's just bad. Check on all the reviews that people have said about it on YouTube. That is all I'm going to say. Sony Animation, I know that people are going to say, Across the Spider-Verse or Into the Spider-Verse, but for me, Cloud Chins and Meatballs. I just love how it's super funny. I love the voice acting. I love the emotional moments, and I swear, Flint Lockwood's a character that I relate to tremendously, especially with being an awkward nerd. That's literally like me, guys, so me-coded. And also liking women. Okay, for worst Sony animated movie, I would probably say, I'm gonna say that, the Smurfs movies. Not the 2016 one, but, the live-action animated ones. They're just so bad. Like, the Emoji movie, here's the thing. It's not like it's insufferable to the point it will kill me. It's just a boring-ass movie. It's just boring. But it's not, frustrating, you know? Compared to the Smurf live-action animated movies. They're so stupid. Gargamel's the only good thing about them, but, the movie is still doo-doo. The movies are still dookie, okay? The movies are still dookie. Okay, hopefully I did a quick rundown on that. Sorry if it was, cut short a little bit and whatnot, I guess. I'm just gonna go with the flow of that. Yeah, hopefully those questions live up to the satisfactory, I think. It's kind of a Wild Robot quote, but I digress, I guess. Okay, so this question, I've actually gotten this type of question from, both Sin of Greed and one new person named Sonic Pro 1. And it's gonna be a pretty long one. For me to answer in terms of, it says, how's life been treating me? So, I know that this will probably be a serious note, despite the fact that I was literally trying to be so funny through, this, 23-ish and whatever mark, I forgot at this point. I'm not following a script. I'm more, being authentic with what I'm saying, at the moment, but in terms of what I'm doing, I'm just gonna say it, it's been a lot for me, for a long time. Ever since September, it's been a while. In fact, for the past 4 years, I've, been not in the, 4 to 5 years, I'm just gonna say it, I'm gonna probably blame the pandemic, because it Like, I'm just kind of blaming the pandemic as well as other things. But I've been a little, just not in a great space, basically. Sophomore year, 10th grade, my school makes it look like I've just been into hell. It is just full of stress, lots of work, just a lot of stuff, to get done and everything. And honestly, it has taken a massive toll on my mental health. And especially with, being thrown into things like online drama, whatever. That kind of stuff that, many friends have to deal with and all that jazz. Like, that has also been making me exhausted. That has, put me through so much. But since the school year's ending, like, it's like everything has died down. From, like, the drama that I'm thrown in, because I'm basically their therapist at this point, even if I did not, I just so happen to give out advice and people just acquainted me, hired me to be a therapist or something, I guess. Like, whatever. Like, it's just like everything has died down, like, since, the school year, or the sophomore year is ending. And hopefully, life will get better. Like, hopefully in the summer, because I am so looking forward to, these next couple of months with my channel, because I want to bring so much to you guys to compensate over my, all the things that's happened. Like, ever since Helene, my channel has been kind of a doozy. Like, in terms of viewership, it's like, just like, I think the most amount of views I've gotten in one video, I think it was the one for Mina versus Alex when I used to do WIS editing. I no longer do that, by the way. I no longer do that. I haven't been doing that for a while now. I have no longer been doing that. I think that was when the time where we got highest amount of viewership, and it was more than 3,000 views. I think I know it's more than that. I haven't really checked. Like recently, I haven't really checked, but I know it's around there at least. But in all honesty, I will be at a better mood for the next few years. I know that this year is going to be a moment where life is going to be absolutely hard. Especially the fact that it was my first time experiencing through a hurricane and then getting harassed for it from a certain person that Mikey Herbert will tell you about. And also, just all of the bigotry towards the LGBTQI plus community just was also a pain in the neck. Especially, it was that time when my parents were trying to beg questions about me and whatnot. Especially, if I was, because since my mental health has been kind of crappy, they have been kind of worried. But not in, saying, oh, she, conformed to, a gay demon or a freaking, mentally ill person. No, not like that. But, more just, just not doing okay. And one of those things, it was really coming out to my parents. Because I have been, here's the thing. I have been, gay since, I don't know. I have never been oh, I'm into boys. I've never been like that my entire life. I've never been like that ever. Which completely destroys the theory about, everyone is always straight. Everyone's born to be straight. That's not true. That's not true. Look at my experiences. I'm guarantee that it is not true. That it is far from true. So, along with that, I've came out to them on November 6th of 2024, a day before my birthday when I turned 17. They were supportive, and I feel glad. But that was a light. There was a little light, at the end of the tunnel there. But the tunnel still kept going dark after that little light came up, just because of schoolwork and, being thrown into my online friends' responsibilities at times. But now that everything is, a chapter of chaos, messiness, insanity is coming to a close, I'm going to feel like a much different person. And I hope that, with me going through this, me going through all of this crap, is going to be motivation to people saying, hey, no matter how hard life gets to you, no matter how hard life gets for you at a certain moment, you always go and get back up. It's a leap of faith. It's a leap of faith to trust yourself on whether or not you'll be able to handle through hardships in life. It's a leap of faith. I'm telling you that. And I'm just going to say that I want to thank you guys so much, even if it is, I'm not a big YouTuber. I know I'm not. But regardless, I am just going to say thank you for supporting me. To all the people who have been, tuning in on my videos since, my very first video ever, and all that jazz, I just want to say thank you. You have been helping me through it. What kept me going, partially the reason, was because of you guys. You guys sticking into my videos, you guys being completely understanding about whether or not things get delayed or not, and agreeing and appreciating all of the, compensations I make whenever, a video gets delayed for something. Especially when I delayed my Ambrosia speed paint and added my ABS above redesign instead for that video. So, so you guys can watch something and entertain something, watch something new, And I'm just really glad that I am able to do this with you guys. I just want to say thank you so much. I really am really thankful for this opportunity to be a part of, your life for just at least a few seconds of your life or a few minutes of your time. I am glad to be being a part of it, and I really, really, really hope that you have not a good day, but have a great day. Toodles!